So it has been some time, and I'm sure, well, very few of you guys are probably wondering why I haven't been uploading on YouTube for the past 2 weeks. Well, to put it simply, I've just. That's why I haven't been on YouTube for the past couple of weeks. Now that that's out of the way, I like to do a quick little Christmas haul with you guys before we get into the wrestling and the movies portion of the show. Just because Christmas just happened, it's the holiday season, and just feel like sharing it with you guys. So let's start off the Christmas haul. Before we get into everything today, I just want to welcome you guys back to Cinema Smackdown. And in case you've forgotten my name over the past 2 weeks, my name is Drew Bronson. So let's get started. So to start things off in this little Christmas haul, I did get a brand new mini mic set. The last one that I had just stopped working after some time. I haven't been using it for a time period. I guess I forgot to charge it. It wasn't charging, so I just kind of threw it out. Though I didn't really ask for this. This I actually got while playing a game of White Elephant with my family. So I'm very lucky to have this at the end of the game. And my hopes for this new mini mic set is that get in touch with some people, have some more sit down interviews. This mic set will be perfect for that. And then this singing machine microphone that I have right here, I could just keep using here in quote in studio, which is just my bedroom. But yeah, so this mini mic set. And then one of the things I did get that was on my list was Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Now, I've already beaten the story of this game in just a couple of days, and although that doesn't seem like the longest time period to have for playing a game like this, there is still more for me to do in this game. A lot more levels for me to play, a lot more areas for me to discover in certain worlds. This has to be, in my opinion, one of the best 2D Mario games that has been made. And the new voice actor for Mario, Luigi, and all of them, he does a good job. I mean, I've seen the reports about who he is. Can't remember his name right now, but he does a good job as Mario, and I'm hoping he continues this success in future projects voicing Mario with Nintendo. Also for Christmas, I got these two brand new mini studio lights, as well as this brand new chair. My last one was a little bit wobbly, so I'm happy to have this new equipment. This hoodie. This hoodie is another thing that I wanted on my Christmas list, and I'm just I am so happy that I finally have this because I am a big fan of the Barbie movie, and this was something that my sister and my brother got for me for Christmas. And when I was looking at what I wanted to put on my Christmas list, and I wanted the I Am Ken shirt, I was just looking on Amazon. They got this for me off the official Mattel store, which makes it even more better because it's more authentic merchandise for the movie. And this is one of the most comfortable hoodies I have ever owned. I got a few, but nothing like this. So, thank you again to my brother and my sister for getting this for me for Christmas. So, let's move on. Now, there are a couple calendar days next year that I am going to certain events. Some that these I already knew about before I was given them on Christmas, but I wanted to keep it a secret from you guys. That way I could talk about it with you after Christmas here on this week's episode. So starting off with one of the first events coming up in January on Friday the 19th and Saturday the 20th, I will be down in Kissimmee, Florida for TNA's return to the event center in Osceola Heritage Park. The last time I was there, this past January, it was just Impact Wrestling. So Hard to Kill on January 13th, they are making the transition back to TNA for the first time in God knows how long. And to say that I am going to TNA, and I could say that I am a fan of TNA wrestling, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to seeing some familiar faces. People like Josh Alexander, Deonna Purrazzo, uh, Crazy Steve. He's one of my favorites. Sami Callihan. But also the Central Florida return of Trinity, formerly known as Naomi in WWE, who was born here in Orlando, Florida, and she's coming back to wrestle in her home city. She is someone that I cannot wait to see. Just, yeah. I am overall excited to spend a weekend out in Kissimmee with my mom and go enjoy some TNA wrestling. Now, these next two events mean a lot more to me because these are bucket list items. First, on Monday, February 26th, live at the now Kia Center, formerly known as the Amway Center, here in Orlando, Florida, I finally get to go and see Disturbed. For the first time in my life, I get to see Disturbed in person, live in concert. For those of you that don't know, Disturbed is easily my favorite rock band. Now, of course, I listen to other rock music like Ozzy Osbourne, AC/DC, among many more artists, including some of the artists that get used for theme songs in WWE pay-per-views like Beartooth and Turnstile, just to name a few. But now, Disturbed is something that I have been wanting to do for many, many years. And I'm beyond excited, so much so that I plan to make a special outfit to wear. I'm not going to say what it is, but go follow me on social media to stay updated on developments of my outfit. It's not going to be the best thing in the world, but it is going to look good, especially for my first quote cosplay outfit, because I don't cosplay much at all. So I have good hopes for the outfit that I'm making for Disturbed. So go follow me on Instagram to stay posted. And for the cherry on top, easily one of the best gifts that I have gotten in a long time. On Saturday, January 27th, live from Tropicana Field in Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg area here in Florida, I will be at the 2024 Royal Rumble event. And this means a lot to me for a couple of reasons. Although my first Royal Rumble event was at 2016 here in Orlando, I wasn't really a fan of wrestling until about 2018, so a couple years after that. So really, I'm gonna be treating this like it's my first, especially my first now that I am such a massive fan of pro wrestling. And knowing that CM Punk has officially declared for the Rumble, and we could potentially get Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Universal Championship, that we'll talk about in a little bit later. But yeah, it's gonna be an absolutely incredible trip. A 3-day, 2-night weekend out in Tampa Bay with a handful of my friends. I do plan to go to the Royal Rumble Superstore, so hopefully I bump into some of my friends there. And I'm sure you guys don't know this yet, but on Sunday, January 28th, I plan to upload my first vlog video where I will be posting my experience out at my weekend in Tampa Bay at the Superstore, as well as the event itself. Reactions to entrances, getting other people's thoughts on the show, my friends especially. It's just going to be an absolute blast. And time feels like it's going to slow down, but I just can't wait to hit the road and get to Tampa Bay, Florida. The Royal Rumble can't get here soon enough. Now, there were a few other things that I got on Christmas. These are just some of the bigger things that I wanted to highlight and talk about. So, the Christmas haul is out of the way. And before we get to NXT, I want to talk about a movie you may know as The Iron Claw. I would have to say that The Iron Claw may just be the best movie that A24 has ever put out. Now, Iron Claw and Priscilla are the only A24 movies that I've seen. Definitely going to see more of their movies in the future. But there's something about the Iron Claw that makes it very special. Because not only did Zac Efron give the performance of a lifetime in this movie, and that's said by many people, there, for a movie based on something that is almost like a soap opera, there were some very real issues. And you could see that and also feel it in some situations while watching this movie. It's crazy. As a wrestling fan, I was excited to see this movie. As a moviegoer, I was excited to see this movie. Overall, the movie was just brilliant. Everyone gave it everything. Also, fun fact, the Sheik in Iron Claw was Chavo Guerrero Jr., and he was training all the other actors about competing in a wrestling ring, and Chavo did a great job because every single scene that everyone was in when they were fighting in the ring, it was perfect. They did great. Wait a minute, hang on. Just thinking out loud here. What if, hypothetically speaking, we get to the Royal Rumble and Zac Efron, of all people, is one of the entrants into the men's Rumble match? That would be hilarious. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't think it'll happen, but I think after this movie, we could definitely see Zac Efron or some of the other stars of the Iron Claw make an appearance on WWE television. So, I mean, we'll wait and see. He could show up next Friday, January 5th. Yeah, January 5th at Smackdown New Year's Revolution. He could be in front row during the triple threat match. But getting back to the Iron Claw, definitely one of my favorite parts of the movie was their work in the ring. I just can't focus on anything else but that. It was so good. And the actor that they had to play Ric Flair, he was basically every one person that worked on this movie deserves their flowers. And maybe a compensation pool. Definitely go see the Iron Claw if you haven't already. It will be worth it. Definitely one of the best ways to spend 2 hours and 12 minutes at the theater. I have been waiting to talk about New Year's Evil for a long time now, especially about the main event. But before we get to the main event of NXT New Year's Evil, let's cover everything else that has been confirmed as of this past Tuesday that will take place live at 8 o'clock on the USA Network. To start things off, I want to talk about the finals of the NXT Men's Breakout Tournament. Over the past 3 or 4 weeks, we have had incredible matches to showcase the new superstars that are bursting onto the scene in NXT. Some have been here for a little bit, some are brand new. We've had stars like Luca Crucifino, Tavion Heights, Dion Lennox, who is brand new onto the NXT scene, including Trey Bearhill, and then other stars like Riley Osborne, Obafemi, like a lot of brand new and exciting talents showing up in the scene in NXT. Now, it was an exciting tournament, and the finals will take place this Tuesday at New Year's Evil. The final two superstars will be Obafemi and Riley Osborne. Riley Osborne representing Chase University. So, here's my thought process on the whole thing. If Chase University has a representative in this tournament, I'm thinking not only with the contract, there will be a good chunk of cash that will be given to the winner. So hopefully this will be a way that should Riley Osborne win the breakout tournament, it could help Chase University pay off their massive debt. But if I had to choose, I gotta go Obafemi. Although he hasn't been on NXT TV very often this year due to injury, he is easily one of the newer dominant forces on NXT. So, my official pick for the finals of the NXT Men's Breakout Tournament is Obafemi. After a slap to the face backstage last week and pleading with Ava, Ariana Grace has a one-on-one match against Roxanne Perez. This was just something that all happened last week. In regards to my pick, I don't know. This is one of those matches where I'm not all that excited for, but let's just say Ariana Grace with the win. 3 members of the No Quarter Catch crew, which consists of Drew Gulak, Miles Bourne, Charlie Dempsey, and Damon Kemp, will be taking on the team of the NXT North American Champion Dragon Lee and LWO members Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde. Now, after last week, about 1 or 2 weeks ago, when Dragon Lee got ambushed by the No Quarter Catch crew and LWO came to help them out, my friends and I kept saying that this should be an 8-man tag team match because that opens up the door to bring Carlito down here to NXT. But that appears to not be the case. So we have a 6-man tag team match this coming Tuesday. Del Toro, Wilde, and Lee taking on 3 members of the No Quarter Catch crew. Now, if I were to predict the 3 members, I would say give me Charlie Dempsey, Miles Bourne, and Drew Gulak to take on that team. But overall, in regards to my pick, I gotta go with the NXT North American Champion Dragon Lee and the LWO for the win. It is a first time ever matchup for the NXT Women's Championship, as the defending champion Lyra Valkyria goes one-on-one with Blair Davenport. Now, you think these two women would go one-on-one while they were in the UK for NXT UK, but unfortunately Lyra Valkyria got injured and she hasn't been seen on WWE television until her debut here in the States. And Blair Davenport has just kept on working in the UK. And after winning the Iron Survivor Challenge earlier this month at Deadline, Blair Davenport has secured her spot as the #1 contender to face Lyra Valkyria at New Year's Evil this Tuesday for the NXT Women's Championship. This is going to be quite the test for Lyra Valkyria, because Blair Davenport throughout the year has just been wreaking havoc, putting numerous superstars on the shelf, and has just been dominant lately ever since her victory in the Iron Survivor at Deadline. So I expect a great match between these two women for a first time ever matchup, but I got Lyra Valkyria retaining the NXT Women's Championship. Capping off the night at NXT New Year's Evil in the main event, we have the single most anticipated rubber match in NXT's recent history, as the defending champion Ilya Dragunov goes one-on-one with the men's Iron Survivor Trick Williams. If you haven't seen these two men's past encounters with each other, go watch them. This goes all the way back to, I think, October of 2022. Their first match on NXT TV and their second encounter back at Heatwave this past August, absolutely surreal. And the fact that I was there for both of those matches, and I will be there this Tuesday for their next chapter for the NXT Championship. Trick Williams, back at Deadline, had the comeback of the century, not only scoring the most falls in the history of the Iron Survivor Challenge, but doing so in the shortest amount of time you could possibly do it. He had about 90 seconds left in the match and he scored 4 falls, pinning each of his opponents consecutively. And now here he is, in 2 more days, about to fight for the biggest prize in NXT against one of his best opponents that he's ever faced. This match almost feels like a fever dream. I keep looking at it and telling my friends about, like, I would be inaudible when I can't even find the words right now to talk about how excited I am for this match, because why do I keep trying? I'll be honest though. Looking at what these two men have done throughout the year, all the way up to this point, Dragunov having match of the year candidates in amazing matches. The last man standing with Dijak at Battleground, the North American title match at NXT Stand and Deliver, the NXT Championship match at No Mercy, where he beat Carmelo Hayes to become the NXT champion. And then Trick Williams, I feel like ever since that moment where he wanted to go out on his own, that was the match that lit the fuse to the rocket that would just shoot Trick Williams straight to the top. And it did just that. And he has the biggest opportunity of a lifetime in just 2 more nights. Do I think Trick Williams can get it done and beat the Mad Dragon for the NXT Championship? That is a very difficult question, because both of these men are extremely talented, and Dragunov is one of the more, if not the single most dangerous competitor in NXT right now. However, I would say the odds are in Trick Williams' favor, because as of late, every time he's gone out for a match on his own, Dominic Mysterio at No Mercy, his qualifying match for Deadline, the Iron Survivor Challenge at Deadline, Trick Williams walked out on top with the victory. But this match has a much, much different feel than everything else he's done throughout the year in NXT. But going back to that question, do I think Trick Williams can get it done against Ilya Dragunov and win the NXT Championship? Yes. As much as a fan I am of Dragunov, I am also a real big fan of Trick Williams. And I believe Trick Williams has what it takes to beat Ilya Dragunov and take the NXT Championship from him. So, that's New Year's Evil. I want to discuss one more thing that happened this past Tuesday on NXT. A little something called NXT Underground. So, in the main event of last week's episode of NXT, on the final NXT TV of 2023, we had Dijak going one-on-one with Eddie Thorpe in NXT Underground. The second time this match has ever happened. Now, the rules of NXT Underground are very simple for this unique match. For NXT Underground, all the ropes are taken off, which means that there are no counts. There are also no pinfalls. The only way to win NXT Underground is by submission, knockout, or technical knockout. And these two men had an absolute war. I would even say that this past NXT Underground match was better than the first one, which was also won by Eddie Thorpe against Damon Kemp back in the summer of this year. This match was all over the place, and it was as physical, no, even more physical as physical can get. I'm talking every area of the ringside, every part of the ringside area, there was just mayhem. Whether it be from Dijak and Eddie Thorpe or the NXT talent surrounding the ring, just adding even more energy to this match. Eventually, this match came to an end by knockout as Eddie Thorpe would slam Dijak through the announce table with a Manifest Destiny DDT and score the victory via knockout. So Eddie Thorpe remains unbeaten in NXT Underground. And it was one hell of a match to close out 2023 and to ring in the new year. Honestly, this year in NXT has been absolutely unforgettable, and I cannot wait to see what 2024 brings. Ladies and gentlemen, that will do it this week for Cinema Smackdown. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you do want to keep up with the channel, I recommend you go to the channel, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to get notified every Sunday when new episodes get uploaded. So, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your holidays, and I will see you next year.